How many have a blog right now? Just quick raise of hand. Everybody, almost everybody. And how many have looked into SEO or search engine optimization for their blog site? Okay. How many feel proficient with it? Okay, great. Perfect audience. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to be talking about the fundamentals. There are other things related to search that you might hear about, such as links and those sort of things. And yes, those are important. But your own blog site first needs to have the foundation of good search engine optimization. So I'm going to go through that today. And then as you get more advanced, you can do research online or keep learning about it. But these are the core fundamentals of what makes it work. So let's get right into it. Today we're going to cover the smart way to attract new fans to your blog, and a brief bio of me and why you should even listen to me at all. 7 tips for traffic magnet blogging. And that just means you're going to attract the people who are looking for information or like-minded people who have pets and love them and want to see what you have to say that might be helpful to them, or at least have a comrade out there on your topic. And then we're going to focus on quality, and I put in quotes, amazing content, because Google basically is trying to match people on their search engine with quality content that meets their needs. And Matt Cutts from Google, who basically I stalk online, he's an expert. He doesn't give away too much about Google's algorithms and what matters, but he'll give you clues. And one of the clues has always been that it has to be quality content, first and foremost. So the things that I tell you to do with keywords and where you use them and things like that are definitely fundamental, but the first and foremost thing is to think about your audience and what would be a quality experience for them. And then I'm going to show you how to optimize everywhere in an ethical way, because there are unethical ways to do it that are not going to help you, and they're also not going to help your readers. So I'll tell you how not to take keywords and stuff your pages with them, but really to weave them in a nice, smooth way so your blog is mostly, first and foremost, a great readable experience for the reader. And then we'll recap what your plan will include, and you can skip ahead if you want. I hope you don't, because you might miss something. But I've given you a cheat sheet you can take with you and apply to your blog starting immediately. Ooh, worth the price of admission. Woohoo! You can go now, bye. No. That was it. Okay, so here's the big thing about the big secret of search. It really is just using the right words and phrases in your blog posts that match what people are looking for when they go into Google. Because people are on a mission when they go to Google. And they want to find out. Someone has a Deaf Dogs Rule website, blog. I don't know if she's in the room, but it's Deaf Dogs Rock. So someone with a deaf dog would completely love that website. But they're going to be typing in certain phrases. Dogs with hearing loss, hearing impaired dogs, various phrases where they're looking for help on how to raise a deaf dog. So I haven't been to Deaf Dogs Rock, but I imagine because she has such a good following is that she uses those various phrases people are using in that particular niche. So we'll talk about what's your unique position or niche that you are trying to put out there to the world, but also attract people to you with. And does it match what people are looking for? Also, if you're coming in late, there is a set of handouts, and I left them on the back table. They're all gone. I'll get you more. Let me know if you didn't get them after this, and I'll make sure I get you a set. So the right words are really critical for blending your thoughts and your heart and what you're writing about with what people are actually looking for. So hopefully that's really clear, because I think sometimes you have an idea of, oh, this would be such a great thing to write about. But if you write about it and don't think about how people might be looking for that information, they won't see it, because Google won't know that you have this awesome content for those people unless you put some of the words in your posts. So I'll show you how to do that. The other thing is, blog as frequently as you can. Some do daily. It just depends on your niche. If you have a super narrow, really interesting, like there's a three-legged dog blog, there's a, there are different niches that are really specific. You don't have to maybe blog as often because there isn't a lot of competition. There aren't a lot of three-legged dog blogs, I imagine. If you're doing something about dog fashion, you might want to find a niche that is unique in that space because there are a lot of dog fashion blogs. So, and you'll want to blog more frequently because of that. And then the biggest thing that's happened in the last several months is Google Author Rank or Google Authorship. And I'm going to talk about that at the end and how to establish yours for your blog because it's becoming a must. Google now doesn't want just quality content. They want it to come from someone that makes sense, the author. Who's the author of this content? They're really clamping down on just hack articles written by whatever and slapping them out there with keywords in them, which is just not helpful to anyone except, in the old days, that used to be kind of the thing to do. Write 50 articles a week and just slap these keywords in and we'll show up in Google. Well, they did for a while until Google said, that is not a quality experience for the search person. And let me just be straight. Google is about advertising, and they definitely are focused on revenue, but if people aren't getting a good search result and coming back to Google and going off to Bing or Yahoo or one of the others, they're letting their advertisers down. So there's really a double-edged mission here. It's to really be the best and the most responsive search engine there is for whatever someone's looking for, whether it's locally or topically or news items, whatever. And then they want to make it worth their advertisers' while to be spending money on the site. So those two things go hand in hand at all times. So your job, if you do it well, is to really determine who your audience is, what you want to say to them that matters to them, and then use the search process really smartly and wisely to get that traffic coming to you. So let's dive in. So there's me with Louie. Louie is, everybody's like, what is that? That would be a Westie Bichon mix. So I call it the curly Westie. And his shape is like a Westie, but his ears give him away, and he's curly sometimes. So that's not quite a Westie. But he has that lovely Westie skin problem all of his life issue. So we have a lot of fun with that. But he's a doll, and he's my inspiration. I've been in the pet industry for about 13 years. I used to work I'm from Maine, and I used to work at LL Bean, and one of my first projects was the LL Bean dog beds. So I used to write about moisture-wicking liners and all this groovy stuff. It was really fun. And then they had other products, too. And then I moved on to a vet company based in Maine called IDEXX Laboratories. And your vet probably uses their lab equipment, their SNAP tests for Lyme disease, and their computer software maybe even. And I worked for them for many, many years writing all the materials, mostly for the sales folks to go and take to the vets, but also some consumer content too about Lyme disease and feline leukemia, et cetera. So I've been writing about pets for a really long time. I now work for LifeLearn, which is a Canadian company, and they help veterinarians thrive through a vet practice web platform, social media, and then also client education. They have a library of like 1,300 veterinary written articles that are about any topic you can think of for pet health and behavior. And I also have worked with other pet companies, including Pet Amber Alert and some others, and we have 2 cats that live with us as well, my daughter's cats. So we just have a swinging time. Okay, so this is the first step of 7 steps, and you may already have this really carved out in stone and feel solid about your position as a pet blogger. And as you see here, there are many of us. So you have to think, okay, I shouldn't worry so much about what all these other people are blogging about. What is it that I'm going to be standing for and the information I'm going to be helping present to the blogging world or to the public, the pet owning world? Or you might be blogging for businesses like I do. I have petcopywriter.com, which is a business blogging site. I teach businesses how to do what I'm telling you today, and also how to do content marketing and social media and write amazing content that solves a need at all times. Because my thing is about businesses, so they're all about solving a need, right? So whether it's a vet kennel or exam table equipment company that makes stainless steel equipment, or Pet Amber Alert I was doing some writing for, I'm always talking about how can your pet business thrive. And that's what my blog is about. So that's my 100 focus all day long, 100%. And everything I write about is about helping pet businesses thrive with great online content. That's it. That's my entire, I don't do anything else. I don't talk about web design so much because I'm not a graphic designer. I don't talk about, I really just focus, how can I help your pet business market yourself with great content online? So a great website, great blogging, great social media, anything else that has to do, like great emails. We talk about emails too. And that's what I do on a regular basis. So you want to figure out who are you lasering in on? Who do you feel tied to as a community? What kind of community do you want to start? There are several awesome examples here that I see just walking around. And if you're a business, what is your business all about? And how are you different, unique, and incredibly awesome in that niche? Okay? So really map that out for yourself. Figure out what they care about. Ask them, go and do research in the trades. Like if you have a business, for example, like these guys do over here, you want to look at pet product news and the other trade magazines and see what retailers or pet owners are looking for today. Like pet owners today are looking for eco-friendly products, right? Like crazy. So if you write about eco-friendly products, you're certainly not alone as a blogger writing about that. So what is your unique thing that you bring to the table? And that's going to be huge, because it's a really hot topic right now, and there are many of those. So you need to find out what your audience really cares about, and then write about it. And be authentic, of course. You don't want to write about stuff just because people are looking for it, but it's not really you. So weave it into your own story and your own pet lifestyle and everything that you care about. But just make sure it matches what others are looking for. I can't say that enough, and I probably have. And then find out what they're looking for regarding keywords. And what I mean by that, if that's new to any of you, those just mean what are the phrases people put in Google search when they're looking for something. So it might be if you live in a town in New York, let's just say Oswego, New York, and you're looking for an eco-friendly pet store. You'd type in eco-friendly pet store Oswego, right? That's a key phrase. Those are keywords. So you want to use those, and I'm going to show you some examples. One of them is holiday gifts for pets, for example. If you use those, someone smartly did on a cat website, the top 10 Valentine holiday gifts for pets. Aha, there's that key phrase in the title. So we'll talk about what people are looking for and how you can deliver that. Now, your readers are using keywords. They're online every day on Google, on their phones or on their laptops, using phrases on things they need to know about with their pets. And it might be fun stuff, but it's also some how do I train a puppy? How do I find natural dog food recipes? Maybe you write recipes on your blog all the time. What phrases are you using on that website to attract what people are looking for? Every month, these are monthly numbers, average monthly search numbers. 2,000 people are looking for natural food recipes for dogs. So there's a clue right there. I'm going to take questions at the end so we can have people go up to the mic because he's recording this, and it would be really helpful for everybody who gets the recording later to hear. But write it down, and I'll get back to you. Find a lost dog is another big phrase every month. God knows how many dogs and cats get lost every month. And there are different services out there. Someone mentioned Home Again, that's just one. There are many, many services. Cat behavior facts. Anybody here writing about cat behavior? Yeah, okay, cool. There's a keyword for you. 10 facts you didn't, or 10 cat behavior facts you never thought about. That's a title right there for a blog. Unique gifts for cat lovers, that's another one. And these go down, but it's just an example. I'm just telling you, people are searching online every single month. These are the kind of numbers out there. If you are, let's say, someone who talks about natural dog food or pet food, think about the variations of or phrases that people might be using. They might not always say dog food. They might say recipes. They might say or diet. They might say, you know, different things. So you need to make sure you're thinking of various angles of your topic or your focus. And I'm going to show you a little bit how to discover what those variations are. I mean, you can certainly ask and read and look on Facebook and Twitter and see what people are talking about. Like if you go on Twitter, you can use Twitter as a search engine, by the way. Go on Twitter and just type in natural dog food and see what people are talking about. And that gives you a clue of what people really are interested in. So that's just one way. All right, here's how to find keywords. This is the really foundational way. I use some very pricey tools, but because I have clients, it pays for itself for me. But you might want to start out just using the free Google AdWords keyword tool. It's a mouthful, Google AdWords keyword tool. And but it's awesome. It gives you some really good clues into what people are looking for. I'm going to show you in a second how that works. But some other keyword tools, these are just a couple more, there are many. WordStream is highly recommended by SEO folks, and WordTracker. There's another one called Keyword Discovery, and there are several others. But I'm going to show you the free one, because why not as a newbie? Why don't you start out with what's free, and then as you move along, you might want to dive into the more advanced systems. So when you go into, let me back up for Google AdWords. When you go to Google AdWords, and you can just Google it, Google AdWords keyword tool, and it'll come up with this page where you can enter a topic and select a category, or you don't even have to. You can just put in a phrase, and then it will say, get results for only this phrase, or do you want variant phrases that are similar? And try it both ways, because sometimes if you say, I want the variations, you get wacky stuff that's so not relevant. But if you say, I just want that phrase, you might have a real narrow result. So play with it and see what shows up. And then that is kind of your puzzle, your clues to go through and sift through. And then you can go and look, all right, so I put in cat behavior, and this is what came up. So these are monthly searches. Basically, when it comes up, it's all a jumble of craziness. And you want to go to the right column, Global Monthly Searches, and click on it, so it shows you most to least each month. So 49,500 people each month are looking for behavior of a cat. That's a lot of people. Now, the competition column is important because, bless you, we'll do a blanket bless you for anyone who sneezes. Someone did that this morning. That's important because if you have really high competition, it's going to be a lot harder for people to find your blog. Google isn't going to quickly rank it well because there's already a bunch of pages already ranking well. But the medium and the low competition, even though the search numbers might be lower, that's good stuff because those people, for example, male cat behavior, 880 people are looking for help with male cat behavior, and they want to ask about spay neuter or aggression or whatever. And if you're talking about that on your blog, ba-boom, you're going to show up well because there aren't a lot of other websites. That's what low means. There isn't a lot of competition. So do you want to hope that 49,000 people will find you? Sure, that's a lofty goal, but it might be hard and it might take a really long time, or so many people have trumped you already with that it might not ever be something you land on number one for. So, but if you go down to cat change in behavior or any of those low competition things, there's a really good chance that your blog post, and if you post also comments in Facebook or Twitter about it, you may show up on page one in Google pretty quickly. I can't guarantee any of that. It all depends mainly on who else is blogging about this topic or who else has a website about this topic and has done a decent job of optimizing their own content. But you have a good chance when it's low competition. So this free tool gives you some pretty nice clues. about what you can talk about for topics. And you don't have to do this every time. You can sprinkle it in. If you're blogging daily, I wouldn't get obsessed with keywords every single day. But I would definitely keep this in mind at all times when you're going, I really want to write about male-cat aggression. Is there anyone searching for that? I'm going to show you another way to find out. Okay. The other keyword clues are seasonal topics, like holidays and summer, winter, care tips, those kinds of things. Other topical events, like suddenly there are a bunch of fires in Colorado. What do you do with your pet when you have to suddenly evacuate? Think about what's happening in the news, like hot trends and newsjacking. Has anyone heard the phrase newsjacking? Yeah, it's an awesome phrase. David Meerman Scott, who is worth reading, he's written a bunch of books, and one's called Real-Time Marketing, which is really about what we do as writers now. But his other book is called Newsjacking, and it's about taking a major topic that's really hot in the news and piggybacking your blog and your story to that, which is brilliant. I don't know, who are the two stars of the, I'm just going to completely, Kristen and Robert, and it's big drama because she went with, thank you, Twilight. Obviously, I don't follow any of that. But there was a big story about them breaking up and who gets the dog. And I remembered my friend David and Stephen, they both wrote this book, What About Wally? And you may have, yeah, it's about divorce and what's the custody of the dog. And I Facebooked David and I said, are you newsjacking this thing, this Twilight thing? Because it's right up your alley. And he said, oh yeah, I'm on it. Because suddenly this high demand traffic is going to rank you in there too if you're talking about it and it's totally relevant. So look what's going on in your niche and see where there might be opportunities for you to hit on something really hot and write about it in your blog post. And suddenly you might be getting an interview from somebody because you just happen to be there at the right time in the right place with the right words. Could be powerful. Okay, two things that Google does you might have noticed now when you go into Google to search something. You start typing at the top and these things drop down like they're trying to anticipate what you're searching. Those are clues. And what Google does is say, okay, well, we have a lot of demand for a cat behaviorist or cat behavior biting. So let's see if that's what they were looking for. So that's, hey, there's some clues right there. If you write about cat behavior, see what comes up. Because those are people's searches. Google knows that's what people have been searching for. And then the bottom of the page, if you scroll down page 1 or any page, I think, it'll say searches related to whatever you plugged in. And these are some different other variations. Ding, keywords right there. Those are awesome clues. And they're free, and they're right there waiting for you. But I have to keep cautioning as long as you have a focus. If you're just a general blogger about anything dogs and cats, it's going to be really tough. So I highly recommend choosing your path where you have a passion and people are like-minded and want to be in a community with you, because that's how you'll get the readers. Okay, so again, you don't need to do this every single time and make it like this obsession or worry or barrier to your free writing thoughts. But when you can, make sure that you're writing around the keywords. So like I said, holiday gifts for cat lovers. Who's going to have a top 10 Christmas or Hanukkah or any kind of annual Mother's Day, whatever? What's a great top 10 Mother's Day gifts for cat lovers? That's fantastic because those are keywords. So write around them. People want information. Let's give it to them. You be the solution. That's what's really fun, because then you'll suddenly get comments like, I'm so glad you wrote this. I got this a couple weeks ago. I wrote about local search and how so many local businesses, I'm sure you can relate. We have all these local businesses, like let's say you're looking for a local vet, a local groomer, behavior, trainer, anything. And you type it in and you find a website, but then you get there and you're like, where are they? I don't know where they are. I don't know how their phone number, they can't figure out. And so I said, here's what you need to do. If you're not being found, if you're not being ranked in Google, if you're a local business, put your location on every page. It's that simple, because your competitors probably are not doing that. And put your phone number and put an inviting description. We offer Sunday hours, something that makes you the most attractive result in the ranking, or that even gets a ranking suddenly now that you're doing that. Because Google can't guess that you're on Main Street in Oswego, New York. You have to put that in your content. So I'm not saying to you guys, unless you're local, blogging locally, but this person commented to me when I wrote about that, I can't believe I have not been doing that. Duh, thank you for writing about that. So that was a win. I call that a win. I was able to help somebody. And that's what you want to do. So think that people are looking for useful content and that you can help them or entertain them or provide some sort of information that will be useful to them. Because you can. You all are here. You know you have something to offer. Again, Google wants to find people searching. What are the results? Ooh, quality. Let's put that together. Here's something that actually will help them. Let's put that together. And that's how they rank. That's how they show you the results. So again, that's the magic matchup. What people are looking for, great content, magic happens. And that's where you end up on higher up in the search engine rankings. So if you're the best solution and you use those keywords, ta-da, that's what happens. Now this is really, really good advice because you can get carried away with keywords. So if you're writing a blog post about 10 or 5 great Mother's Day gifts for cat lovers, don't stray. Try not to stray. Blog posts are usually most awesome if they are really focused on one theme at a time, especially if you're writing around a keyword. And then if you are going to become someone who does monetization or has links that lead off to companies or products, that's really helpful too. Like how to keep your cat from hairballs. I'm making that up. But Furminator might like that. They might like you blogging about that. And so you want to just stick with that one topic in that blog post. That's all I have to say. And then, so will you choose a primary keyword for the post? You can use other keywords, but for purposes of really good content that's concise for search engines, by the way, one keyword would be the best thing to pick. And then you want to make sure the content is relevant to that keyword. So don't just put it in there because, ooh, here's a hot keyword. I'm just going to fling it in my blog, and then my blog's about something completely irrelevant to that keyword. Don't do that because Google will see it right away. Because they crawl all content. They start at the top and they work their way down. That's why the title or the headline is the most important. They start at the top like we read a book, go left to right, and work their way down. So if you have a great title and then nothing else is relevant to that, they're gone. So, okay, so here are a couple examples. I don't know any of these examples except I'm going to show you one of mine. But this one I just happened to find because I put in gift ideas for cat lovers, or the cat lover, something like that. And this came up, and it's great. And that's what her blog is about. Different things about owning cats, or celebrating cats, or helping people celebrate cats. This is one of my blog posts for the pet business world. And I was just writing about pet websites and pet web content. So I used pet website content in my title because I know that people are looking for that. And I know that because they call me and I say, how did you find me? I typed in pet website content and you were right up there on the first page. Yay! It's working! Genius! So then I blog along, and look at that bold thing. Here are 3 examples, blah, 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 pet website. There it is again. I have it in my caption. Imagine your pet website visitors. Pet website. Okay, so it's not overkill. It's only 3 mentions, but those are 3 great places to mention it. In the headline, in a bold sentence, in a photo caption. And a link is another great place to use the keywords. The link should have the wording in it. Not click here to see great gifts, but these are the 10 best gifts for cat lovers. That should be the link. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, great. Awesome. Now here is, who's using WordPress to blog? What else are you using? Blogger. Okay, I'm using WordPress, and so this example is WordPress, but I assume Blogger has the same kind of back-end thing. So when you're blogging, you can get different add-ons. This one's called All-in-One SEO Pack. There's another one called Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T, and there are others. I think if you work with HubSpot, they have their own. But this is my WordPress one, and I had All-in-One SEO Pack installed, and I'm going to make a confession. I have a WordPress dude because I am not good at the technical side of this, so I just found a WordPress guy to help me set things up, set up my pages so they look great, and now I can blog to my heart's content and everything shows up in the right place. So I actually ended up doing that because now it frees me up to do what I do best, which is writing. So in the SEO, there are really only 2 or 3 areas you have to worry about in that code part. So the title for my pet website content thing was the ear hug approach to pet website content, and then I put my name after pet copywriter. Then in the description, you want to give a little inviting, descriptive, kind of enticing blurb about or summary about what your blog post is about, and include your keyword. So I have ear hug content can compel your pet or veterinary website visitors, da-da-da-da-da. And whether you're marketing pet products or services, guess what? Marketing pet products is another keyword. So I just kind of snuck that one in there too. And then keywords are not quite as critical anymore. They used to be. But I just put them in there because why not? It doesn't hurt anything. And then also when you're blogging, you can put tags, and that's the same thing. Keywords or tags, and just helps Google identify your page more. But it's not so critical anymore. Now, when you upload photos, do the same thing. WordPress gives you a little window when you upload a photo, and it tells you to put those things in there. News to you? Well, this was news to me at one time, so I'm happy to share it. But this is great stuff because you have another chance to put in inviting content that is great for Google or Bing or Yahoo. So the alt text, that alt text right there, I'm going to circle it. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, right there. Okay, that's my Maine coming out. Right there by Jesus. Nobody else is from Maine, are you guys? So I wrote the alternative text or alt tag for my photo to use my phrase pet website in it. But my blog post is about the ear hug approach, which is a little fun and different and warm and fuzzy and all that stuff. So I didn't put pet website content is about, I didn't make it boring. You make it interesting. And then my caption is, imagine your pet web. It's the same caption you saw on the actual page. But this is where you put that. And then I have a link to the photo, and that's good. And then I just hit save, and ba-boom, it's all in there. You can do that too. How are we doing on time? Okay, because this is something new that I hope I steer you in the right direction, but go to Google to get the instructions. I'm just telling you it's important. Google authorship is a fairly new thing. You have to have a Google Plus account. How many of you have Google Plus accounts? That's pretty good. Well, that's all right. It works. So if you don't, it's free, and you just set it up. Because you can create a profile for your blog and yourself. It has to be a personal Google Plus account, but you can tie your blog to it. And that's what I've done. So I have a Pam Foster Google Plus account. But when I do my profile, I say I'm a pet SEO and content marketing specialist for the veterinary industry and pet businesses, blah, blah, blah. And I contribute to, and then I list the things I contribute to, which is my own blog. I also write for a vet industry trade publication called Vet Advantage Magazine, and some other things. So this is why this matters. This is the Google Plus page, and note, this is why I gave you handouts, so you don't have to write all this down. Go there, and it'll tell you how to claim your Google author position, your Google authorship. And it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Sign up for Google Plus. Make sure you have a profile set up. And then make sure you have a byline that your name is going to appear on your article. So if you're writing for catbehaviorwackiness.com blog, make sure it's by you, your personal name, because Google's looking for that. They want real authors. They don't want, hack authors. They want the real deal. And then you click on that thing, you click on the link that says verify your email address, and then after Google sends you an email, at the email your Google Plus account is registered under, you will then go, I'm in, and then that's it. So it's free, it's easy, and they're waiting for you to do that. So here's my profile. I didn't show you my entire profile, but it's basically my photo and a bio about my background and why I do what I do. But here's the good stuff that really matters. I contribute to all of these different websites and blogs. So, I work for LifeLearn. I co-wrote a book under this called Wildly Profitable Marketing for the Pet Industry. And so I contribute to that website. And several others. So you put all that in there for your blog or whoever you contribute to. And that's going to trigger Google knowing now that you're an author tied to those online publications or online content areas. And this is what the results look like. So if someone types in pet website content, because I write about that a lot, you can see right at the first non-paid result is me, with my little bio photo with Louie, my Google circles, which are kind of pathetic, but it doesn't really matter. And then this is the blog post I wrote for that particular, that particular blog post. And I think what they do, and still I'm learning too, but boy, this works. I mean, I was at a web conference in February where I learned this, and I just went home and did this, and now I'm here telling you that it works. So my other blog posts come after that, but I think they only give the first one, the author, rank, photo, and profile, if you come up on several results on the page. But if someone else knows that that's wrong, please correct me. I'm learning. Learning by trial, to tell you the truth. But every week I get calls from new client prospects who say, gosh, I really need some help with my pet business website. How did you find me? I typed in pet SEO, pet content, pet website, and you show up like all over the place. Yay! I'd better, because that's what I say I do, right? If I didn't show up, that would not be good. And it always makes me laugh when someone says, oh yeah, we do SEO for clients, and you look at their own website and it's totally not optimized. So you have to be optimized to say you do. Okay, so that's really everything you need to know to get going. And that's a lot to take care of, to soak in and start working as a practice every day. But I wanted to give you the fundamental stuff so you can then grow from that and learn more. So again, know your audience, deliver what they need, make it authentic from the heart, but an obvious match for what those people need, because we all have communities of we're all here, right? We all love to pet blog. Does that come out right? We like to blog about pets. That's why we're here. So the people that you want to talk to, there's a whole group out there. Same deal. Three-legged dogs, retro pets. I love that because I'm a retro girl. So, and so now I'm going to be thrilled to read her blog because I'm totally into mid-50s, 60s, cool, retro, modern stuff. So, yay! Everyone in this room is going to have that group of people that go, yay, when they find your blog, but they won't find it unless you do these things. So these are the steps, and what I did was on the back of your handouts, if you didn't get one, just let me know and I'll get you one, a cheat sheet of those steps, and you can go home and go, okay, does my blog have the title and the thing, and I know who I'm writing to, there you go. And that's it, and I welcome questions now, and if you could please go up to the mic to ask questions so that Brendan can get it on film, please. That would be really super helpful. Just line right up. I'm here all day. No.
Thank you. I learned a lot. I have a WordPress blog, and I don't fill in all the boxes when I'm putting in photos. Can I go back to old posts?
Yes.
I won't break anything or ruin
Nope.
anything?
Go back and do whatever you want. Yep.
Thank
That's
you.
fine. It won't blow up.
Hi, I have blog posts that will get optimized very well, and I'll get a lot of people who come to see it for a short period of time. How do I keep that post relevant?
Well, it's different people will come at different times.
Okay.
That's what I find. I mean, if you're posting evergreen content, which means it's not so time specific or news specific, if you're typing something, I mean, if you're talking about something very news hot right now and then it goes away next week, like maybe Justin Bieber, please go. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, my favorite post that, I mean, I'm thinking in specifically was how to tell a boy cat from a girl cat. Because I foster very small
yeah,
kittens.
that's very evergreen.
No one seems to know. And immediately I got a flood of people. And then as the year has gone by, occasionally people will show up for that. It's probably because it's not kitten season anymore, but I do know kittens are born all year long.
Right.
So it's not getting as much interest now as it did when it originally posted. So.
It could be a matter of things. And again, I'm not the expert on all things SEO, but it could be that somebody else, a lot of other people suddenly have posted information, so you're not as high in the rankings for that blog post anymore. Or it might have been fresh news to the search engines, and it's now being buried by other fresh news about kitten season that other, so that could be it.
So,
but people will find it, keep finding it.
Any good ideas? Should I just repost with that?
Well, sure. Yeah. You could, absolutely. Go on Facebook and repost it. Thank you for nodding over there. Feel free to stand up and help me here. Write it again.
Every 6 months.
Write it again with a spin, though, because if it's a new blog post, Google does not like duplicate content. So if you talk about a similar topic again and again, make it really different. Put a different story spin, or say, the other day I was talking with so-and-so. Make it really different. Okay. Because if you just keep blogging the same content, Google's going to go, duplicate, we're not ranking that.
Okay. Here's an idea for you. Find funny stories about people who mis-sex identified their cat
and
gave them the wrong name, and then they had stupid names for their
You did that?
Really
and how about that little kitten right there who's really adorable?
Those are really funny stories.
Oh, my God.
Ways you can probably get a lot of traffic for the story.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I welcome all voices here. Because I know what I know from my experience, but there are other people who have bigger audiences and have more success, so I welcome their voices, please.
I have 2 questions. The first is, how important is caption text for photos? I personally don't like the aesthetic on my blog.
You don't like what?
The aesthetic. I don't like the way it looks.
Oh, well, that's a choice, but it helps your rankings. So it's a choice.
By a large margin?
Well, it's part of the algorithm. It's part of it. So you're making a choice. It's okay. I mean, it depends on what your niche is. And if you are kind of a really cool one lone person that's got a big audience, maybe you don't have to do that. But I never leave anything to chance. I try to cover all bases. So that's just a personal choice. Oh, do we have other answers to this? No. Okay, I didn't talk about what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to hide keyword content ever. Google will be like, you're thrown out of the whole thing. There are black hat, they call them white hat and black hat, I don't know why, but the bad way, the unethical way of doing keyword work is to hide them or stuff them all at the bottom. Or, there are lots of things you're not supposed to do. So be ethical and be transparent at all times. Never hide anything. Yeah, bad. Okay.
I'm just going to add on the photo, because Google is indexing, I don't know if that microphone can hear me louder, because Google is indexing your photos too. The more information you give it about your photo, and the caption and the tag is what helps the rankings, because it's Google the more information you give Google, the better, and the more good information, the higher you rise in the rankings. So
right, the more relevant.
You should find a way to caption your photos that you don't hate, I think the advice I'm giving you.
So ugly.
Well, also, Google can't see pictures, so that's why tags were invented. So
Right.
I would just,
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I hate the way it looks.
Aw.
Personally.
maybe you can have an awesome tag designer, caption designer, come up with something that you would love.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
There might be a way around that.
Yeah,
Are
maybe,
there any
yeah.
graphic designers here that might help her out? No? All writers. Okay, never mind.
I'll look
You'll
into
find
it.
somebody.
I'll look into it. Thank you
Okay.
so much. My second question is for the Google authorship.
Yeah.
Like, I personally don't sign every blog by Julia Gleason. It's an image text that says like XOXO Jules. So do I have to put my name to do the authorship? Because that's something I also don't want to do, but would like to benefit from the authorship.
Right. Let me just say, I've been told that you should. Everybody has told me that you should. All the SEO geeks that I adore out there say do it. So, yep.
It's a meta tag.
Yep.
There's a meta tag in the head of the post.
Okay, I'm sorry. Say that again. A meta tag in the header. Possibly. So that might be a way. Okay. I'll repeat what she said. Well, maybe you can explain it, but could you do it on mic? Do you mind? I don't want to. I'd probably make it fall over. Yeah, I'd make it go thwomp and loud noise. No, this is great because I only know what I've heard. So
Yeah, if you don't have to sign it or put your name on it. If you there's a meta tag, you can put it in the header that has your Google Plus HTML address, and that links the post to your Google Plus account. A header in WordPress. I don't know exactly how it works in WordPress because I don't use a WordPress site. When I create a page for our website, it's a little bit different, but I'm sure there's probably a pretty easy way to do it. There's a plugin for WordPress for that. There's always a plugin.
So, I love this, yeah. Okay, so this gentleman up here, whose name I've already forgotten, I'm so sorry, John, said that if there are plugins, and if you Google authorship plugins or meta headers and all that stuff, you'll find, because I'm putting my author, Pam Foster, pet copywriter. But, what's that?
I just am wondering why if you are taking the time to write a blog, why you wouldn't want to promote who you are. Why do you want to hide that? I mean, you're writing it.
I mean, I'm not. I personally don't want to say hi to Julia Gleason after every blog post. It's a lot more fun. It feels less. It feels more newsy to be like, hi, Julia Gleason.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think sometimes some people say to have a great blog, you should put your personality and your authenticity out there. So I think, yeah, right. But your name is part of that. Okay. Yes, and WordPress does have an author space where you can put it in. Right. Okay, next question.
Well, my question is actually kind of related.
Hang on, I can't.
I was going to ask in terms of Google authorship, I'm really intrigued by the concept, but what if you're blogging as a business?
That's why I showed you who I contribute to.
Right. Okay.
Because I'll go back. Okay. Somewhere here. I passed it. Oh, good. Too excited. Okay. So I work for LifeLearn as of last January, 4 months ago, and my day job is to work for them doing content for veterinary practices. So I contribute. I have a personal Pam Foster Google Plus account, but I write a blog for LifeLearn as a staff member, and I put by Pam Foster LifeLearn.
What if staff names don't normally go on any of the blog posts?
That you're encouraged to do that if you can.
Okay.
I mean, maybe there's a way around it.
That becomes a policy thing.
Yeah.
What's the company's policy in terms of you as an author? Then
Okay.
if you get to the policy issue, then it's a technical thing of just making sure that the author.
Right.
Right. Companies are finding they have to adjust and adapt for the new world to give staff, people, a voice. And that is something that the company, you could ask them, say, since Google Plus is huge now, is it okay if we all start signing the blog posts on behalf of the company? And that's a, corporate in-house decision they have to make.
Okay.
But it matters. Yes.
My question is more towards plugins for the visually impaired. I run the blog for Lupine Pet, and had a consumer call, very upset that our WordPress site was not optimized for the visually impaired. And I understand there might be a plugin for that, but then and this might tie into Julia's question a little bit, is that a way that you could potentially get around captioning your photos for the sighted folk, but if you are having somebody read that?
You're asking me something I don't know about.
Okay.
Because I haven't had that occur in my line of work with my clients, that they haven't asked me about it, or I haven't needed to address that.
Okay.
So if there's someone else in the room that knows that, or else I would just do research on it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
That's okay.
I can look for you if you'd like, but I haven't had experience with that, I'll be honest.
My boss specifically said in the alternate text area to use keywords because that
Right.
will index those
For visual impaired?
for photos.
Right.
There's an alternate text.
But to help the ADA compensate? Okay. We probably have, we have 10 minutes. Any other questions? If not, you're free to go and have a cup of coffee or something. But I thank you for your time. I hope it's been helpful.